and show all people that where there is love, I'll be there.
Hi. You know, I just love to garden. It's my way of unwinding after a long day on the set. I could spend hours out here, pruning, watering, working with the soil. It can be a lot of work, but the time I spend here or working around the house provides a healthy balance to the rest of my life. You know, as performers, it may seem that our lives are always happy and carefree, but believe me, most of us have had our share of disappointments. And beneath it all, we all share the same concerns about our families, our work, and the communities in which we live. Every day, we all face challenges and sometimes even tragedy that we can't handle alone. That's why I volunteered to make this film. I know how important it is to have someone there when you need them. And I decided long ago that if I could make a difference in even one person's life, I would try to help. And you can do the same thing when you give to the United Way. You are there helping people through the crucial services your gift provides. I've seen it work firsthand. Her name is Rosella. At the age of 60, she was happily married and looking forward to retirement when domestic violence shattered her life.
When my husband first started battering me was on our 11th anniversary. I had a broken arm and 2 black eyes. So he promised me he would not do that again. And because I loved him so much, I said, okay, let's try again. Let's forget it happened.
But it was just the beginning of a systematic pattern of abuse that would leave Rosella isolated from her family and friends. Lundy Bancroft counsels batterers.
The more effectively he isolates her, the more completely dependent she is on him. So she feels like even if he is abusing her, he's the only thing she's got.
When I would tell people what he did, they didn't believe it. They would look at me. They saw the physical evidence. But everybody would say, oh, really, Rosella, not him. Once he locked me in the bathroom for 3 days and left me there. I always thought that this time would be the last time. I said, maybe next time he'll really kill me.
One night, Rosella made a dramatic escape. With $66 in her pocket, she ran the 1.5 miles to the bus station.
When I got off the bus, I was very frightened. I was in a strange city and I didn't know anybody. One man kept staring at me and I thought he was somebody that knew my husband. And finally he said, oh, that's a lovely dress you have on. And then I was relieved, you know, I knew I was all right.
Remembering an ad she'd seen on TV, Rosella dialed 411 and asked for help. They connected her to a United Way-supported women's shelter. For the next 30 days, it would be her home, a safe place where she could pull her life back together.
The women's shelter not only gives you a new life, but a new outlook on life. Without United Way, I don't know what would have happened to me. The women's shelter would not have been built. There's nothing like United Way, I don't think anywhere. No, don't worry. Are you safe?
Today, you'll find Rosella answering the same phone she once called. She leads a happy, independent life which she has dedicated to the cause of battered women.
I would like to say to any woman who's being battered, gain strength, believe and know that someone cares.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the business of our daily lives that we may forget about the needs of others or needing help ourselves, often until it's too late. That's why your gift to the United Way is so important. When you give, you're making possible through United Way a wide range of services right in your own community. Your gift provides food and shelter for a homeless family, daycare for a small child, programs for the elderly and the disabled, or gives a person the opportunity to learn how to read and write. It really is the best way to help people who need it the most. You know, none of us is immune to life's problems. But when they strike those closest to us, they can be overwhelming. Jane, her husband Gary, and 3 children lead happy lives. But not long ago, when Jane was a single parent, she almost lost her oldest daughter, Cerise, because of alcohol abuse.
Already in high school, I was drinking to the point of blackout. You know, I would wake up the next morning and not be able to remember pieces of the evening, not be able to remember how I got home.
Cerise managed to hide her growing alcohol dependency, but it was taking its toll. One night, her mother received an alarming phone call.
I remember falling asleep and getting a phone call.
Yes, it is.
And they said, well, someone from this phone number called the hotline with a suicide attempt.
Cerise, are you okay?
I went down to the family room and found Cerise there.
It's really hard for me to try to tell someone else how I was feeling that night. But I was only 19, okay? And I think a lot of people can look at that and say, she had this going for her, she had this going for her, she had this going for her. But I was at my bottom. You know, I didn't like myself. I felt like I didn't have anywhere, you know, I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. And most of all, I blamed myself.
Cerise was treated for an overdose of sleeping pills. Diagnosed an alcoholic, she remained in detoxification for 30 days and then entered a United Way-supported halfway house for chemically dependent teenagers.
I can't talk about how important it was to not be alone during that period and to be able to work through problems with people who knew exactly what you were talking about.
With unwavering determination, Cerise came to terms with her alcoholism.
1, you're on the air.
Good evening. I'm Cerise James, along with Rick Weber and Cornell Hutton. Thanks.
And today, she's a popular television reporter and anchor woman.
I haven't had a drink for almost 5 years now. I think because of United Way funding, the hotline, and the halfway house, it helped save my life.
These are only a few of the lives you've touched through your support of United Way. There are countless more stories like them. By getting involved, by giving your time and money, stories like these can have happy endings. So please give.
I'll be there to comfort you, fill the world with dreams around you. I'm so glad that I found you.
Thank you.
I'll be there with a love that's strong. I'll be your strength.
Thank you.
I'll keep holding on.
When you give, you're saying to someone in need, I'll be there.
I'll be there. Just call my name. I'll be there.
United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.